Hi everyone, it's Grandpa Hickory. Welcome to my video. My grandma had a cellar full of snakes. My grandmother lived way out the other side of Alny, Texas, in Wichita Falls area. And we would go there in the summertime, me and my brother, and we would stay with her for a couple of weeks. And I never will forget, she had a cellar right beside her house, and listen, she had a well that had the best water I've ever tasted in my life. We had dropped a bucket in there, and it would sink way down, and she told us, let it go all the way to the bottom, so we did. And then we turned the crank and brought the bucket back up, and she had a metal ladle, and we would scoop it in that bucket and take a drink, and it was ice cold water that was so good. I'll never forget it as long as I live. But we were there, and one day my grandmother came running and told us, you kids, come on, get in the cellar. And I looked at her, and I didn't know what a cellar was. And me and my brother looked at each other, and we said, what's a cellar? She said, come on. So we went running with her, and she pulled this door that was on the ground. It was a metal door, and she pulled it up, and we helped her open it up. Man, there was snakes like you wouldn't believe, and they were doing this number. And me and my brother jumped back. I mean, these are rattlesnakes and water moccasins. And she just kicked them out of the way and said, come on. Well, we ran down the stairs with her, and we were kicking snakes off the stairs, and they fell down at the bottom of the cellar, and she shut the big metal door, and it was pitch black. Well, she struck a match and lit a coal lantern, and we could see the snakes. And she put the coal lantern down in the middle of the floor, and the snakes all backed up, and they were all in a circle. And it was a square, you know, it was a cellar underneath the ground. It was where she kept garlic and onions and potatoes and squash for the winter. And she had a big garden. And she also used it as a tornado shelter. Well, we didn't know anything about tornadoes. We were just kids. And we stayed down there, and the door started shaking and rumbling. And we stood there, and the coal oil lantern started doing this. It started flickering inside the lamp. And it would flicker and go dark, and then it would light up the room again. And then it would flicker and go dark and then light up again. Then after a little bit, it did that about 3 times. Then she picked the lantern up and said, come on, boys. Well, we followed her up the stairs. We had to kick more snakes off the stairs. And listen, snakes, I don't know about you, but it makes my skin crawl. Oh, man. But we got up there. She didn't kill any of them. We didn't either. She opened the big door, and we went out, and there was a lot of trees down and everything. The house was okay. Everything was fine. And she closed the metal door back behind us. And she had blew the lantern out and hung it back down. Right as you open the door, there's a hook on the side of the wall, and that's where she kept her hanger. And there was a little shelf, and that's where she kept her matches. So she put her matchbox in there. She hung the lantern up. We went out, and then she closed that big, heavy door, and we helped her shut it because, you know, she was up in the years. She was in her 90s. And I never will forget those snakes that were in that cellar. It was horrifying, people. Hit the like button, subscribe. Grandpa Hickory. I just wanted to tell you about some of the stories of me and my brother back in 1956 in Alny, Texas, Wichita Falls, and a tornado that came through. See you on the next video.